It's going to happen sometime. Your turn signal and daytime driving lights are going to go out, and you're going to want to replace them. So this is the bulb. It's a 3157. And there's also some information out there about this being a CK socket. So you want to get something that works for that. The bulb is called 3157. Anyway, this is an amber bulb, obviously, and we all want to try and upgrade these so we get something better and nicer and newer. And LEDs are usually a better way to go than the halogen lights. So I'm trying these out here. These are Auxito, and they're rated for, or at least designed for 3157A. So you can see it's an LED light here. Looks pretty interesting. This is all kind of plastic, by the way. But it says that it will fix hyperflash. And hyperflash, of course, is that problem that when the bulb burns out and there's no current continuing through the filaments there, that lack of resistance causes a little error, and your turn signal flashes really quickly, the things that do work on that side. LED bulbs, because they don't have the same amount of resistance as a physical filament here, will do the same thing. So you can have something that will work. You can put in an LED bulb, but so they usually need some kind of resistor or something to give that extra bit of resistance so that the signal slows down and it realizes there's something there. So often an LED bulb will cause that problem. Again, that's the hyperflash. These say that they won't. So let's try them out and see how they do. Now, one thing I can tell you is that, as I've mentioned, or if you look in these, maybe it was just my experience, but these are really tight. They're really tough to get in and out. And there are these little bits here on the edges. See a little piece kind of hanging out there and hanging out there. And you can see something similar right here. It actually looks larger. And I can tell you that as I was trying to put this in, I actually had to carve off this little bit here and here. I just could not get those in to work. I mean, they're tight to begin with, but I was wondering if these little guys here were just kind of too big based on the stock bulb. So that's one thing I didn't really like. And again, this is plastic, and I could take a sharp knife and just carve away on those edges just a little bit, and then a little bit, just bit by bit until I could force it in. So that's one downside about these lights, and I was kind of not prepared for that. But let's get them in and see how they actually work. So there's the bulb. It seems like replacing these is harder than it should be. There's the turn signal driving light, and right behind there's the hole where it goes in. You're going to want to rotate counterclockwise to pull it out. And here's the bulb itself. You have to pull it out, and my experience has been that these 3157 bulbs really do fit in there tightly. They're tough to get in and out. I actually broke off the glass here taking one of these bulbs in and out. So just kind of keep that in mind, that they're really tight. They're snug in that little socket there. Well, there's the end result, the comparison. Obviously, the halogen bulb is on the left, or the passenger side, and the driver's side has this new LED. So really nice, really bright, nice amount of light there, and of course you have that crisp LED on and off. So this is a really nice upgrade for the stock bulbs, but man, were they hard to get in. Here's the last one in, and against a bit of my better judgment, I was trying to force it in, and it actually broke off a little bit here of the edge of the plastic socket. You see that? So I don't know if because that's old and maybe with the heat of the bulb this is weakened, but you really do have to carve down those nubs on the sides. Just carve them down quite a bit. I kept doing little by little, and they do need a lot. Don't worry about going too much, because the socket's pretty tight anyway. And it has to really seat down there pretty far. It'll go in, and at least mine feels like it wouldn't go anymore. But there's still like this was a bit higher. There's like a bit of a ridge, or like a tiny little line that was imprinted into plastic here. It's got to seat down there really tight like that to be able to work. So, boy, those are probably the toughest bulbs I've ever had to fit somewhere. So there we go. The end result is really nice. I like them. And they're actually a pretty good price compared to buying a separate sort of resistor kind of connector that you would put in between your bulb and the factory socket, or the kinds that have the really long thing with an extra kind of resistor built in part of the cable. This is going to be a much less expensive option to use these bulbs. And they're working really nicely. Now, I did try what are called switchback bulbs, which have white and amber LEDs. The idea is that they are white while you're driving, and then it switches to amber when you put on the turn signal. But I couldn't get those to work. And if you look at the bulb, the normal bulb is just a standard simple amber bulb. So I know there are more expensive kits that you can do that so the switchback will work, but I haven't seen anything that's just kind of a plug and play where you just plug it in where the other bulb went and had it work. So if anyone there knows about that, let me know. But otherwise, these are really good and cost-effective option. So really nice turn signal, driving light, hazard lights. Better than the stock bulbs. And here are the lights in action. So there's a normal blink. Let's try the other side. And there's a normal blink. So here's a problem I have been having with these. And you can see there's the hyper flash, which they're supposed to correct and not have there. And there's the other one doing a hyper flash. So what I've seen is that sometimes they work and flash as they should, and then sometimes, even while they're doing that, they'll just start speeding up and end up doing this. So I'm not really quite sure what to think of these new replacement bulbs yet. Still trying to figure this out, if there's some way to make this work as it should.